welcome. We are here in the Lupus Live with another Lupus warrior that is going to share her story. Just want to let you know we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and we're trying to stream live also on Instagram. So forgive me if I'm going back and forth, but I want to thank you all for coming. I see that our warrior is already in the building. So I'm going to not waste too much time as we bring her forward. Miss Terrace Scott, hold on 1 minute. Here we go. We got it. That was nice and quick. Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I am fantastic. I'm so happy to be able to talk to you today.
Yes, I'm excited.
Awesome. So, Terrace, am I saying your name correctly?
It's Terrace, actually.
Terrace. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm saying it properly. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you located at?
I am in New Jersey. I live in Plainfield, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
But I am originally from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Trying to
So
get
you
this camera right.
went a little bit north for you, huh? Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I feel you. So tell me,
Okay.
I want to first thank you for coming on and sharing your story with us. I'm sure it's going to be a magnificent story of
Mm-hmm.
overcoming because you are here today to tell it, right? So let's get into the
Yep.
meat and bones. Tell me, when were you diagnosed with lupus and what type of lupus do you have?
Okay, so I was diagnosed in 2005.
Okay.
Um, I have SLE, which is
Mm-hmm.
systemic lupus, and it mainly involves, for me, organ involvement.
Okay.
Like initially, when I was diagnosed, I, I had the rashes and the aches, the joint aches and stuff like that. But
Right.
I don't get much of that anymore. Like here and there, I'll get, the joint aches or whatever, but that's not what I deal with like on a daily basis. So for me, it's mostly the organ stuff
Right.
that, I deal with.
Right. So when you say that you deal with on a daily basis, what kind of stuff are you feeling? Because I mean, we can feel our organs being affected by all this stuff. What what
Hmm.
what what are you feeling? Are you feeling pain, joint pain, and things like that? What type of things are you feeling?
Well, so I've had lung involvement. I've had heart involvement. Right now, what I'm dealing with is kidney disease.
Uh,
So some of the things I might feel are I might get pleurisy, um,
yeah. Oh,
which I
that's
can feel. Yeah, I can feel my lungs.
mm,
I can feel the pain in my lungs when that happens. I sometimes I get a ache in my heart because
mm.
initially I had pericarditis.
Right.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, it just means the pericardium, the sac around your heart gets inflamed, and sometimes I feel like remnants of that. Um,
Right.
with
Maybe
the
some phantom
kidney,
pains and stuff.
yes. With the kidneys, I get pain, in my back where the kidneys are sometimes, and then a lot of fatigue and all the complications that come with like kidney disease, stuff like
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
It could be a little difficult too, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So right now I've entered into the next phase of having the kidney disease, which is like I'm on dialysis now. So I do.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what are you
Yeah.
what class are you for the lupus nephritis?
I believe it's 4 now. It's
Okay.
either 4
Okay.
or 5, but yeah. Um it's what they consider basically like end stage
Right. Right.
renal disease. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to get dialysis how many times a week?
Well, I actually do home dialysis.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
So I have a machine, and they trained me on how to do it myself. So I do it at home. But when you do it
Wow.
at home, yeah, you have to do it every night, as opposed
Gotcha.
to like the people who go to the center, they might go like 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
The
Okay.
home dialysis is a little bit milder. It's
Hmm.
not as aggressive as hemo, so I have to do it every night.
Okay. And how long does that usually take you?
Each night,
Yeah, each night.
I'm on it for 9 hours at night.
Wow. So are you
So
doing
I
it while
usually
you're
hook up, like I'm hooked I'm hooked up right now. I usually do
wow.
it while I sleep. Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So and it comes back to when you wake up, like are you still drained from it? I think that when after you're doing dialysis, don't do you feel drained, and does it make you even more tired when you awake in the morning?
For me, no, I don't feel like that. I know I hear a lot of people who
Hmm.
do the hemodialysis. I
Right.
hear that a lot from a lot of those people, that they feel really drained afterwards. But
Right. Right.
for me, doing it at home, I don't necessarily feel that. So
Right.
I
I
guess
guess because
that's,
you're in
I'm
a
fortunate
comfortable
in
environment
that
too,
sense.
right? Say that last portion again.
Hmm.
We have a little lag going on here.
Okay.
So, when you first found out about having lupus, what did that feel like to you? How old were you when you were diagnosed?
I was 24, I'm gonna say
Okay.
24 years old. And honestly, when I found out, I didn't know how to feel. I didn't have
Right.
any positive or negative feelings about it either way, because I didn't know what lupus was.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of it, so I didn't really know how to feel.
Right.
Once I started doing my research and reading people's stories, then I went through all the different stages of having a
Yeah.
chronic illness.
Right. That whole
So
mourning period, right?
yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. And being so young, it can really take a toll on you mentally.
yeah, it did. And you know what? Sometimes I still feel like I'm in that grieving stage, like I'm grieving for the old person that I used to be.
Absolutely.
So it's something for me that I never really got over, and it's hard, emotionally, psychologically. But yeah, back then it was really, really hard,
Hmm.
because I had never heard of it. I didn't know how to cope with it. My
Right.
family, friends, the people around me didn't know what it was. They didn't really know how to help me. So it was really difficult. It was really, really hard.
Yeah. Difficult
Yeah.
to navigate at that age, and then with the feelings of just having the chronic illness, just was so it can be overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Can be
Mm-hmm.
very overwhelming. And
Extremely.
now, how you're older now,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you said that you always feel like you're grieving your old self. How do you get over that? How do you start to change your mindset to go from day to day to deal with that?
I think that um, having this illness has helped me to become a stronger person. It's helped me to become a better person. Um, because my thing now is that I went through a lot of things that I kind of hope other people don't have to go through.
Right, right,
So I
right.
like to be the type of person that can help someone else cope with, the things that they're going through. And I guess that's what keeps me, that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me from wishing, I had my old life back. I kind of try to find a purpose in
Right,
what's happening to me. Yeah.
right. And that's a great way to be. That's a great attitude to have. I'm sure it
Hmm.
keeps you going every single day, correct?
It does. It does. It really
Yeah.
does.
Because you have to find something to give you that motivation, to give you that your
Hmm.
own encouragement and your own empowerment.
Yep. And even when you find that something is still, it's not easy.
Right.
It's still hard to motivate yourself to get up and go to work, or to go to your appointments, or
Right.
whatever it is that you have to do.
Just to live your life, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. How do you usually explain lupus to people? If someone asks you, I mean, what do you have? Why are you always home? Why do what's going on? You know how people are. People always have such
Hmm.
something to say. How do you explain lupus to people?
um I usually tell people that it's a condition, it's an autoimmune condition that is very unpredictable.
Mm,
um I get tired a lot, I have fatigue a lot. And
hmm.
I try to make people understand that just because you look at me and you're like,
Right,
"Oh, you look fine. You look good. You look okay."
right,
That's not necessarily how I'm feeling inside.
right,
So that's, I think, the main thing that I try to convey to people.
right, right. What they see is not always what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And that
I
makes
think it's
I think
hard for people though. I think it's hard for people to
yeah,
understand that, because they're looking at you like, "Well, you look okay, you know."
right, right. You look
So,
gorgeous. What's going on? Why are you
right,
acting like you're so tired?
right, right, right.
Yeah, it can be a hard, sometimes a hard battle to fight, just trying to explain to people what's going on.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, just trying to explain. Look, I do get tired. I'm human, and I've got some issues going on that you can't see.
Right. Right.
Although I don't really know what sick looks like.
Yeah.
It's like what
Yeah.
does sick look like?
That's a good point.
Yeah, it looks like you and me.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
who is your biggest support system? What's your biggest support system that you have that helps you get through your days?
Um, well, I live with my boyfriend,
Hmm.
so he's always here. He's always supporting me. He's always helping me. He comes to, some of my appointments. He's like really my advocate.
Right,
So, I always tell him, like, I don't know what I would do if you weren't here. I don't know,
right.
I don't know what I would do. But besides him, there are, members of my immediate family that are
Hmm.
really, really supportive, like my mom, my
Hmm.
brother. I have some cousins that are really supportive.
Right,
And I,
right,
I think that's important. I think it's important to have that support group that can kind of understand what you're going through.
right, right,
Yeah.
right. And because I mean, I think support takes you to a whole nother level of empowerment. As
Hmm.
long as you know that you have someone that's there for you, it really makes a difference.
It does. It really does.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have people in your life that are there and that are helping you and that understand, okay, every day is not a great day,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah,
because it definitely makes a difference in our healing.
it
What do you
does.
usually what do you usually do for your pain? Because I know you said you have the lupus nephritis, you're on dialysis, so I'm sure you have the pain in the lungs and everything like that. How do you cope with the pain? What's your best coping strategies?
I get a lot of rest.
I love
Like,
it.
I get a lot of rest, and also I am big on like alternative treatments. So
Hmm.
there was a period where I was doing acupuncture
Oh, wow.
consistently. I don't do that a whole lot anymore, but
Okay.
I do like massages, um, Reiki. I'll
Oh yeah.
do, um, meditation for me is always helpful.
Mhm. Mhm.
And sometimes something for me as simple as just taking a warm bath.
Oh
I don't know.
yes.
I don't know if that necessarily helps the pain, but it just makes me feel better, you know?
Right. It helps any type. It helps you feel better, and it
Mhm.
probably gets rid of any type of issues that you might have throughout the day.
Right. It does. It really does.
Yeah. It's it's
So I
it's,
think
it's
that little things like that, for me, they
mhm.
go a really long way.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. It goes a long way for yourself, and to just get you to the right frame of mind to deal with everything that's going on.
Hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you said that you're on dialysis. Is there other medications that you're on? Can you be on other medications as you're doing dialysis?
So because of the kidney disease, I have high blood pressure.
Mm,
So I'm on several different medications for that. And then I do still take a derivative of Cellcept
okay.
um, for the kidneys. I'm still on Plaquenil,
Oh, okay.
and I believe that's it. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's enough, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
it is.
Yeah, that's enough. Do you
Yeah.
feel that the medications help you? Um, or does it interfere with with what you're doing in your life?
Um, the medications, well, the blood pressure medications,
Mm-hmm.
they help to keep that part stable. So, I mean,
Right.
that definitely helps. The the Cellcept, at one point, I think they had me on a dose that was a little bit too high. So it was giving me like stomach issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that was impacting me, impacting my life as far as like my day-to-day activities or whatever.
Right.
But
Right.
I think they finally got the dose right. So I'm on a pretty low dose now, and I think it's okay. It hasn't been affecting me lately, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, that cell set can definitely mess up your stomach. It can
Mm-hmm.
definitely get you. Definitely get you. How do you handle the physical demands of lupus itself and dealing with the dialysis? And are you still working? How do you handle all those stressful physical demands?
Okay, so I am still working. I work part-time.
Okay.
Um, Before I started the dialysis, I was working two part-time jobs basically,
Wow.
and I had to cut I had to cut my hours at one of them because of the demand of the dialysis, like being on it for 9 hours at night. Um, One of my jobs is very, very early in the morning, and
Okay.
one of them I was working evening hours. So I
Mm.
can't work that evening job as much anymore because I don't have time to come from that and do 9 hours and then like wake up really, really early in the morning. So
Right. Yeah.
I had to cut down some of my hours, so I can't work as much anymore.
Mhm.
Um, which means I don't make as much money. So I mean that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Absolutely
but
sucks.
but the I think that is the main way that the dialysis has been affecting my life so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also like I'm a person who likes to travel a lot. I like to go
Okay.
places. So being on the dialysis is kind of like, all right, you have to drag this machine like everywhere you
Right.
go. So
Mm-hmm.
it's impacting my life in that way. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. So
Yeah. So,
it's kind of like it impacts my decision as far as traveling. I haven't been
right.
traveling a lot lately just because of that. So I mean, that kind of sucks too.
Yeah, it kind of messes up your whole outlook of what you want to do.
Mhm.
Summer's coming and everything like that. Now,
Yeah,
if you do decide to travel though, can you take all that with you, or
yeah,
you have? Of course, you have to make a plan.
yeah. You have to. You have to. Like it. I guess it depends on how long you're going to be
Right.
away. Because if it's going to be a long time, I guess you could have the stuff shipped to wherever you're going to go.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's like a weekend trip or something, you could probably just take all of it with you.
Right. Right. I got you. I got
Mhm.
you. Yeah. It can be difficult, and but you're still able to go out during the day, so that's a good thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. What have you learned about yourself since you've been diagnosed with lupus, and just what have you learned mostly about yourself?
I have learned that I am a very strong person,
Right?
and I'm sure that every lupus warrior could probably say the same thing.
Right, right.
But you learn that you can go through things
Mhm.
and you can be strong and you can keep going on. That's what
Right.
I've learned about myself because at this point I've done that so many times.
Mhm.
You know, I've just learned that I'm a very strong, resilient person.
Right. And that
Yeah.
and that that that's something to be commended. I mean, because a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff probably that some of us have gone through, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And I don't think that a lot of people would be able to even deal with a lot of stuff that we deal with.
I always say that. I always say that I don't think a lot of people will be able to deal with half of the things that I've been through. You
Right.
know, it's not easy.
But here you are today, still able to smile, still able to talk
Mhm.
about it. I mean, you're on the dialysis machine now, and you're still here at
Mhm.
this interview. It's just amazing the strength that you portray, amazing the resilience that you have shown, just dealing with that one thing.
Yeah. Um, I've had multiple people tell me, you look so good. I know you're going through a lot, but you make it look easy.
Mm,
I guess I make it look easy, but trust me, it is not. It's not easy at all. Not easy.
yeah, you make it look easy, but God knows if thank goodness you don't look how you feel, right?
Mhm. Exactly.
Because that would be a whole nother issue. So we do. I'm trying to see if we have any questions. We don't have any questions so far, so I'll keep asking my questions. What is I like to ask this question to people that I interview all the time because I think it's really important because music is to me is like it speaks to me and it's like really a center for me. What is your fight song? What is a song that you um need to hear when you want to get out of a lupus funk and stop thinking about what you used to be? What's a fight song that you like?
You know what? I don't know if this is gonna sound corny or whatever, but my fight song is a song that I actually wrote myself.
Oh, I like that. Wow.
Yeah. I think of it every time like I'm going through a flare or if I'm in the hospital or something like that.
And what's the name of
Um,
your song? I love it.
it's called Keep Standing.
So give us a
Yeah.
little bit of what Keep Standing says.
All right.
You didn't think I was going to do that to you, did you?
I didn't. I didn't. But hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay, here's some words here. I'll just sing like a little bit for you. Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay. So it goes. Your heart is tired, and your body is battered and weary. Your poor, drained soul is crying out for help, but nobody can hear it. Oh, it's crying out. If I feel this weak, how can I go on? If I feel this tired, how can I be strong? But I say to you, put your mind to rest and don't think about walking a mile. Just think about taking one more step. Keep living. Keep laughing. Keep trying. Keep standing. Keep walking. Keep talking. Keep loving. Keep fighting. That's all. That's all. That's all. We can do.
I love it. Keep going.
That's it.
I love it. I done found my new fight song, girl. Everybody's giving you kudos. Talk about saying, girl. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Awesome. You got my husband over here clapping. The dog is barking.
Thank
I
you.
absolutely love it. I love it. That is awesome. Now, look, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you, where can we find your music? Hey, dog, stop talking. Hush. Where can we find that song?
You know what? I haven't recorded that song yet.
Wow,
It's just like
it's been
something that's just
special.
in my mind that I sing to myself.
Oh, my
But I
goodness.
plan on recording it. I keep telling myself I'm gonna like put music to it and record it or whatever. So
We have a Lupus sister. Her name is Jasmine Dominique, and she is of I Am Royal Love. And she has her own Lupus organization, and they have a songwriting session like every other week or something like that. I think that you would really love that session. I'm going to send her information over to you because that was awesome, girl. You
thank
are
you.
talented. I love it.
Thank you
I
so much.
love it. That was so awesome, and it has really touched me. I really like that. So, do you have music to it?
No, not yet. But I dabble with piano a little bit. So I keep saying I'm gonna put some chords to it or whatever. Yeah.
Girl, you better do it because look, I'm about to hook you up with my girl Kelly Price. I'm gonna tell you. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm telling you, had my husband over here bobbing his head, the dog over here barking. I love it. Love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you so
Absolutely
much.
beautiful. And that, you know what? I love that you can have your own words that speak to you. Like, that is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to hear it on the radio. I can't wait. I'm speaking it into existence, girl. It's for you.
Speaking into the atmosphere.
It's there, girl. It's coming for you. It's coming for you. I love it. So if you are just tuning in, I'm gonna tell you that fight song called "Keep Standing" is amazing. Amazing. I love it. I love it. So now let's go on to some words now. What is a quote that gets you moving? A quote or a Bible verse, or whatever type of motivation. What type of words motivate you?
Um, like I was saying, like I learned about myself that I'm a resilient person. There's a quote. It's really simple. It says, I wrote it down. It says, a good half of the art of living is resilience.
Mm, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I think that can apply to anybody, honestly, but
Yeah, absolutely.
especially us chronic illness warriors, that really is most of our lives.
Right.
That's what we
Is
spend doing, is being
exactly.
resilient, you know.
You're so right when you say that.
Hmm.
It's the resilience that keeps us going. The
Yep.
toughness, the empowering ourselves with our, like you do with your own words. Absolutely. Absolutely. We do have a question. This is actually a question from my blood brother from Be Ready Today. And he asks, how do you continue to remain positive?
Hmm. Um. We were talking about support, my support group earlier. I think the people around me
Mm-hmm.
really have a lot to do with that.
Right.
Um, because if I was here in this apartment by myself, I would probably honestly go crazy. So
Yeah. I'm with you
um,
on that.
the people around me really helped me with that. And then my job, I work in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the reason why I got into my job is because when I first was getting sick and my initial symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
I went to the hospital and there was a lady there. She did one of the tests on me. She was a like an ultrasound
Mm-hmm.
technologist. She did one of the tests, and she was really, really nice and sweet and patient with me. She was very, very comforting. And
Mm-hmm.
after seeing her do her job and the way she treated me and everything, she really inspired me
Oh,
to
good.
pursue that job that she was doing. So that's what I do now. I'm an
Oh,
ultrasound.
awesome.
Yeah. And I got into healthcare because I wanted to help people. Um, so that helps me to be positive every day. Just going to work knowing that even though I'm going through my own struggles,
Right.
I get to go to work. I get to forget about my struggles for a while, go to work and, try to help somebody else. So
Yeah.
that's important for me.
Yeah. It's like sometimes as you're encouraging someone else, you're encouraging yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think I have maybe one or two more questions left for you because I don't want to keep you on here too long. I try not to make the interviews too long so that you're not missing too much of your life out there. What three pieces of advice would you give lupus warriors? Like if a young lady came to you and was like, you know what? I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. I just was diagnosed with lupus and I just don't I just need some advice. What three pieces of advice would you give?
Well, first I would say just give yourself some grace.
Mm,
Um, when you first get diagnosed, you're gonna start feeling the symptoms, and you're gonna maybe a lot of people might want to beat themselves up because you can't do everything that you used to
right,
do before.
right, right,
You're not gonna be living the same life. Your life is gonna alter in a completely different way. So you have to go easy on yourself and give yourself some grace because you're going to get enough of negativity
Mm.
from the people on the outside that don't really understand what you're going through.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice. Good piece of advice.
Mhm. Also, I think it's important to when you start going to these doctor's appointments, I think it's important to, like we were saying before, to have a support system, because sometimes when you go to these appointments, you might be in pain or your mind might be on something else.
Mm.
So you need an advocate that is in your life that understands what you're going through, your
Mhm.
medications you're taking and things like that. If you take a medication and you have a side effect, by the time you go back to the doctor, you might not even be thinking about what happened to you. So it's just important to have someone there, if you can, that can remind you of things, that can advocate for you.
Right. When you
Um,
can't advocate for yourself,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
And um, let me see, something else I would tell someone who just got diagnosed is to try to find the positive in each day. And I know that sounds like what, but
Right.
because
Right.
it's not always easy to do, but I believe that there's something, at least one thing that's positive in every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. People on Instagram are saying yes, absolutely. Wow. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that people often they look at us and they think, like you said earlier, you look great. You're not going through
Mm-hmm.
so much, but you're going through a lot. And
Yeah.
with going through all of that, you still have these great nuggets that you can give newcomers to the disease that will help them out.
Yep.
Absolutely. Karen says, I get that now. I think she was talking about the first piece of advice that you gave was giving yourself some grace. And she said, thank you. I personally needed that.
Yeah. You have to. You have to.
And when you say I know you said give yourself some grace. How do you do that?
Um, I do it by, I have a lot of anxiety.
Hmm.
Like, I can acknowledge that when it comes to certain things. So I'll wake up and say to myself, all right, this is what I want to get accomplished today. I want to do
Right.
this. Uh, and as the day goes along, if I find that I only got one or two of those things accomplished, I have learned to celebrate myself for that,
Right.
because
Right.
it could have been like I just woke up and decided to stay in the bed all day. And that's okay
Right.
too. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm just saying, if you accomplished one thing that you wanted to do,
Mm,
that's the reason to celebrate.
absolutely. Say it
And
again for the
you have
people in the back. That's the truth.
you have to give yourself some grace, and don't get down on yourself like, oh man, I didn't
Mm,
get to do that. It's okay. There's tomorrow.
right. Right.
There's tomorrow.
Someone on someone on Instagram said it's a day-to-day process. I think that was Tish that
Yeah.
said that.
Yeah.
And like you just said, a lot of people. Someone said, I can't. Ivy Lee too said a lot of people don't understand and try so hard to. But I don't think that. Sometimes I don't think that lupus is for other people to understand. As long as we understand it
Mm-hmm.
and we understand what we need to do to be well beyond lupus, then that's what really matters. Correct?
And even for us, sometimes it's day to day. Even we are still trying to understand what our bodies are going through.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. Because we sure enough don't know what's good. I know sometimes our mind plays tricks on us and makes us think that the pain is the same every time, but sometimes the pain is
Mm-hmm.
different, and we never know the unpredictability of the disease that will come. So you have to take it day
Yeah.
by day, moment by moment, nanosecond, sometimes by nanosecond, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we have hey Mika on Instagram saying facts. What you're saying is facts. It's definitely the truth. You know, I mean, when you talk about grace, you got to start also with forgiveness. You know, because I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes we get caught up on that whole mourning period of having lupus and not being the person we used to be. So we got to forgive ourselves sometimes. What do you think about that?
That's interesting because you'll have so many different people trying to tell you where lupus comes from, or what, oh, it's because you eat this, or it's because you took that, or it's because you're stressed out, you have too much stress in your life, or um I used to try to listen to all these different things, and then I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, you don't know what you're talking about. It's like, forgive yourself, because it's not your fault. It's not your fault that you have a chronic illness. It's not because of something you ate. It's not because you don't work out. It's not because you're lazy. It's not your fault.
Right, right,
So that forgive yourself is, I think, a very important piece. It's not your fault that you're sick. Um, but there are things that you can do to cope and make yourself feel better.
right, right.
Yeah.
And that's an important point, because sometimes I think we could get caught up in it not being our fault, but then we don't take the responsibility or take the um, actions to make sure that we don't make it worse than it really is.
Right. Right.
You know, and when you have some restrictions, like since you're on dialysis and stuff, you can't have so much fluids and things like that. You know, it kind of forces you to learn how to do that for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Like you just said, that was a good point. It's not your fault because of something you ate, but there are things that you can do to help yourself maintain a healthier diet.
right, right,
There are things that you can do as far as physical activity.
right, right,
Um, just that I just think that was a really good point you just made. Don't get caught up on saying, well, it's not my fault, that there's nothing I can do, because there are lots of things you can do to improve
right,
your quality of life.
right. And
Yeah.
that's what you want to do. You want to have a better you beyond lupus.
Mm-hmm.
You want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to say, I'm still living a good life, regardless of my disease. Um, Now, I was gonna say I have lupus, but lupus doesn't have me. But someone told me that was kind of offensive, so I stopped kind of saying that and just started saying, you have to do what you have to do to live better beyond lupus.
Mm-hmm. I
And
believe that because I used to eat anything really under the sun. Whatever I wanted, felt like eating, I would eat it.
right,
But short, like a little bit before, well, no, it was after. A little bit after I got diagnosed, I made a decision to stop eating red meat, and then that kind of snowballed into not eating turkey or
mm-hmm.
anything else. So now I'm what I would call a pescatarian. I only eat fish,
Okay, okay,
and even that's pretty rare. But I'll eat fish every now and then. Um, and I try to cut down on like dairy and stuff like that.
right,
And
right, right,
it's been a while. It's been a long time, but I truly believe that doing those things has really helped to improve my life.
Mm.
I
And
really believe.
that's so important. That's so important because we tend to forget about our food can either be our medicine or it can be our poison.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
really up to us to make the decision like you did to, cut out the things that might harm our bodies, that might bring on
Mhm.
inflammation and things of that nature. That's very good. Very good. Jennifer on Instagram, and I'm sorry, I'm coming out the picture. Learning to accept this is very hard. People don't understand the depression, the tiredness, the fatigue, and it wears on you. And I had to learn that it's okay, but don't stay there. How do you? Ooh,
Mm.
that's a great statement, Jennifer. Great
It really
statement.
is. Yeah.
How do you deal with that whole depression and the fatigue? I mean, because sometimes it comes out of nowhere. I
Mm-hmm.
heard you say you deal with the anxiety. I deal with the anxiety as well. How do you handle that? What do you do to calm yourself down? You said meditation and things of that nature, but in a moment, how are you handling that?
Um, with the anxiety, I usually try to reason with myself because nobody really knows how bad my anxiety is except my boyfriend because he's here every day. So
Right.
he sees it. But I usually I mean I can talk to him if it gets really bad and he tries to help calm me down.
Right.
But it's usually something that I work out in my own head, you know.
Mhm.
As far as the depression, that's something, especially since I started the home dialysis, that's something that I've been dealing with a lot more lately because I just feel like I'm losing another part of myself, you
Right.
know. Um with that, I'll do something like turn on a funny movie
Gotcha.
or I'll call somebody up, one of my friends or somebody in my family, and I'll talk to them about something that kind of provides a distraction. Um, like I said, things like taking a warm bath or it's different little things that you can do to help yourself get out of the funk.
Yeah. 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 And
Um,
it helps. It helps. Every little bit helps.
mhm,
I don't care if you're humming to yourself. Some people even do the tapping, to try and calm themselves down. So, I mean, whatever you have to do, it's important that you do so that you can live well beyond lupus. Let me see if we have anything else over here. Tish said diet is very important. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joanna says, just got diagnosed and my husband thinks I'm extra. He doesn't understand. Who is that? Joanna. Joanna, I want to tell you to have your husband visit my website. It's going to explain a lot. Sometimes they have to hear it from someone else in order to get it, you know. And sometimes even my own family, they get in denial sometimes. It's been over 20 years, they still get in denial.
mhm,
But
mhm,
because we look great. We look,
yeah,
let's be honest. We look awesome. We take it, we take the fist to the chin and we, you know,
yeah.
kind of move our head and then we get back up and we keep rolling. So
Keep
sometimes
coming back.
I think our
Yeah.
family gets confused, right?
I think she should maybe find a support group and have her husband
Absolutely.
come with her, and then he can hear the stories of
Ooh,
other people who are going
absolutely.
through the same thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. You got that, Joanna? If you're in your area, you can definitely find a support group. Jennifer said, I had to go to therapy. I had to release the things I could not say to my loved ones. That is powerful.
Mhm.
I learned when I'm honest with loved ones, I can't take the look in their eyes. So therapy helps me release. Wow. I never even really looked at it like that. Like, when we tell our family and our friends and our loved ones that we're going through A, B, and C, what they
Mhm.
look like, what they have to deal with seeing us sick, or
Mhm.
knowing that we had to go through A, B, C, and D. Never really thought about that too much.
Yeah, that's
You know,
interesting. Mhm.
it is. It is. And you know
Hmm.
what? Therapy is not a bad word. I mean, you have to, like I said, you have to do what you have to do for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm considering going to therapy because I've never actually been, but I really think it might be helpful to me. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it will. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You just don't like the person that you're going to talk to.
Right. Yeah.
you know, it's not like they're gonna go run back and tell your business to anybody. So it's definitely
Mhm.
worth a try, right?
Yeah.
And this is the last comment I'm gonna say. Let's see. Where did it go? Divanese says, "My children think I'm Wonder Woman. It's beginning to cause a lot of problems between us. They take me for granted because I look okay. I think we all go through that.
Mhm.
I think we definitely all go through that. And we have to, sometimes we just got to put our foot down with our family and let them know this is what's going on. This is what's happening. And you're
Yeah.
going to have to support me, or you're going to have to get out of my way because I got to do what I got to do."
Yeah, you definitely need somebody that can understand what you're going through. Nobody's really going to be able to relate
Right,
because they're not going through it, but you have to have somebody that is going to support you.
right,
You have
right.
to. I
Yeah.
think that's imperative.
Yeah. I think it's one of the most important things we need as we
Mhm.
battle lupus. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for singing your song. Thank you for sharing your story. You are an awesome individual. I love your spirit, and I love your positive outlook on life as you're dealing with lupus. I'm so glad that you are here and able to share with us. Now,
Thank
do you
you.
have
Thanks for having
anything? Not a problem. Anything last minute that you want to say to our lupus warriors and our guests that are here that have been coming in and out?
me. I just want to say I think that every day is a new day.
Hmm.
So stay inspired, stay positive, and most of all, just keep fighting. Keep standing.
Yeah.
Keep fighting.
As your song says, keep standing.
Yep.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And on that note, I am going to bid you a good night. I
Thank
absolutely have enjoyed our conversation tonight. And you are such a positive individual, and I love it. I love it. I'm so happy to be in
you.
contact with you, and I hope that we are able to stay in contact and
Definitely.
have some more discussions. Have some more discussions.
Definitely.
So thank
I
you so
appreciate
much.
what you're
Not a
doing also
problem.
for the
Oh,
lupus
thank
community.
you.
I say that.
Thank you so
Yep.
much. Thank you so much. We
Mhm.
we need we need your stories to encourage and inspire other lupus warriors to keep going. So thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. All
All
right.
right. Well, thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. I will send you actually that stuff tonight before I go to bed.
Okay. Thank
All right.
you.
All
Have a
right.
good
Thank
night.
you. You too. Oh my gosh, how amazing was that? That was amazing, amazing, amazing. Her story was amazing. Her song was amazing. Y'all wait, y'all gonna hear her on the radio. Y'all gonna hear her. I'm finding a way to get that song on the radio because it is so powerful. Her story was powerful. Her spirit was amazing, and I'm so glad that we were able to talk to her today. So thank you everybody for tuning in on what are we on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We have to find a way to stream and be able to talk on Instagram all at the same time. We did the best that we can. So join us tomorrow where we will be with lupus.net discussing mental health on Instagram Live. So that will be at 7 o'clock. You can just hit us on Instagram at Lupus in Color, and we will be able to talk to you and you can ask your questions about mental health. I'm one of the panelists there, and we'd love to see you there. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and you all have a great, great night. Thanks, everybody.